Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. After 2 months, I think I've got enough experience of this device to give you a more detailed review. So for those of you who are new to the channel, this is the Razer Blade 17 Pro with the RTX 3080 and the Intel Core i7-10875H. As Nvidia doesn't go into or doesn't give the Max-Q classification anymore, I can confirm that this is a 100 watt implementation of the 3080 card. It has a muck switch, it's overclocked out of the box, and it benefits from resizable bar support. I'm not going to spend much time today telling you things which are already available on the Razer website, such as I/O, but rather I'm going to focus on my opinions and the things that I think you need to bear in mind if you're considering buying one of these. So let's start with what I think is the main attraction, which is the screen. The 4K 120Hz IPS display is one of the best that I've seen on a device. It has full sRGB and Adobe RGB coverage. It's very bright at 400 nits and has excellent black uniformity and no backlight bleed whatsoever, which is a good thing because that's a real pet hate of mine. But it's also a very fast screen for gaming, as demonstrated by an excellent performance in the UFO ghosting test. Subjectively, this screen is big and bold and bright, and gaming at 4K is a real possibility with this hardware, which is demonstrated by videos I've shared recently on the channel showcasing some of the latest games like Cyberpunk 2077 running at 4K resolution with high settings and delivering frame rates that you would expect from a much thicker device. And that wouldn't have been possible without a class-leading cooling solution. And the cooling solution on this device is worth having a look at actually, because they've done something quite unusual. So they've incorporated 2 additional fans under the touchpad, and the intention of those is to draw further air across the vapor chamber cooler to assist with the cooling of the CPU and the GPU. But it really works. So you'll see from my footage that my CPU temperatures are usually in the 70s and my GPU temperatures are down in the low 60s a lot of the time, meaning that I can run this machine for sustained sessions of gaming without any worries about it overheating. There are some options in Synapse to improve things further. If you run the device in balanced mode with the maxed fan profile, you'll see your CPU temperatures down in the 60s too, but the fans do get loud. So my favourite setting is to run the device in balanced mode with the auto fans because it's spookily quiet. It sounds like it's idling, but it still pushes out really high frame rates. So that would be my recommendation, and the only trade-off for that setting is that you do get slightly warmer temperatures, but they're still perfectly acceptable. So how does this compare with other devices? Unfortunately, I don't have access to any other devices to carry out my own testing, so I've compiled some data from Notebook Check to give a like-for-like comparison across a number of games that they've tested. I trust their numbers because they match my numbers, so pause the video if you want to have a closer look. But essentially, this machine can hang with the big boys pretty well, likely because of the factory overclock, the muck switch, and the effective cooling solution. So try not to underestimate the 100 watt 3080 card in this device, because it delivers frame rates that are far closer to the G76 than to the G15. So how do I summarise my experience so far, and would I recommend this device? I think that this thing has been pretty much faultless since I've had it. There hasn't been any crashes. It's built beautifully. I think the keyboard is underrated. I really like the keyboard. I'm very happy with it. All of the build quality stuff I covered in my first impressions, and nothing's changed. I think it's a wonderfully built piece of kit. and it performs. The performance really exceeds my expectations, because when I realised it was a 100 watt 3080 card, I was disappointed. I was especially disappointed when I saw how cool it could run, because I thought you could crank this up, but actually the frame rates are incredible, and it deals with 4K like a champ. So I'm very happy with it so far. Would I recommend it? I think you have to want something like this. Is a very particular device. You've got to want to game at 4K. You've got to want that screen to make this kind of investment. The other thing that I should note when talking about recommending a Razer product, or probably any laptop, but I've seen a number of users out there. There's been a number of you in the comments. I've been paying close attention to Evil Pasta's channel, where he's had a Razer Blade where he's had this black screen issue, which seems to have been prominent with the 17-inch Razer Blades for a couple of years. Where every now and again the screen will go to sleep and it won't wake up without a hard reboot. Now that hasn't happened to me, but I think if it did, it would be quite an inconvenient issue. It'd be something I wouldn't be happy with, and it is something that people have reported on, and some of them have been able to fix it with BIOS updates or driver updates, but some of them haven't, and I think dealing with Razer can be quite difficult. So I think my recommendation, if you are the guy a bit like me who wants one of these and is happy to pay for it, buy it from someone you trust. So in the UK, I would buy from Amazon or Currys, or Scan. Don't buy from John Lewis. This is all going to vary from region to region. In the US, I don't know who you buy from, but make sure it's someone with a good returns policy, where if you establish that you've got one of these issues, take it straight back and get your refund or get a replacement. So yeah, I think I can wholeheartedly recommend this device, but I would be very careful about how you buy it. And look at that thing on the screen. Who would not want that on their desk, or in my case, on the kitchen peninsula? But that's it from me. I hope this is helpful. I'll probably do another one in like a 6-month review once I've had it for 6 months as well. So let me know if you have anything you want me to cover. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.